Hello and welcome to Tasting with Mike and Matt. I'm Mike Veach and this is my partner in crime, Matt Kohorst.
Howdy.
And today we are tasting a new product to me. I'm not sure how new it is, but I imagine it's fairly new release.
Mm-hmm.
It is Barker's Mill from the MB Roland Distillery down in western Kentucky. I've always liked the MB Roland products.
I haven't had many of their products.
Yeah, I think we've only tasted one or two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're kind of hard to find up here. It's a very regional, a small distillery, regional market for the most part. But when I saw this out at Westport Whiskey and Wine the other day, I had to have it and everything. And it's mainly because it is their first bottled and bond that I'm aware of.
Nice. And you said this was the last one on their shelves.
Last one on Westport,
so
yeah.
Yeah, they caught it. Last one, lucky.
Yeah. So the MB Roland Distillery, is named for Mary Beth one of her and her husband put the distillery together, and they named it with her in mind. And like I said, it's down in western Kentucky near Hopkinsville. And this is a bottled and bond. Now, I love the fact that they actually put this fake tax stamp. It's not an official one, but it is a play back to the old tax stamp days, and they put made in the fall of 2016, when the whiskey was made, and bottled in the fall of 2021. So it's a 5-year-old whiskey.
Now, why did they used to do that? Was that mandatory?
Yeah, it was mandatory for the Bottled and Bond Act up until 1984.
Ah, okay.
And I'll tell you how authentic looking this tax stamp is. When you flip it over, it actually says 4/5 quart, which, they haven't done that since 1979 when they went to the metric.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
But, I love it. It's great. It's a great nod to history. I really look forward to tasting this whiskey, and it was really, when I tasted it earlier with a couple of friends, we really liked it. And I think you liked it too when we
really
tasted it earlier.
Yeah, it's great.
But it's distilled using local white corn, red winter wheat, and malted barley, then aged there on the site and bottled unfiltered from the same distilling season.
So you said this is a weeder, right?
Yeah, this is a wheated bourbon. We're going to have to do another Stitzelweller challenge. Because we've got several other wheated bourbons that we have found since the last one we did.
Yeah. How much of that Stitzelweller do we have left?
We got enough to do at least one more video.
Good. That makes my day just hearing that. So.
Yeah. So this is the MB Roland's Barker's Mill Bottled and Bond.
All right.
And I love a good whiskey from a craft distillery. It was a little more expensive than your typical Jim Beam or anything like that, because it's a small distillery. They don't have the economy of scale that the big distilleries make, so they have to charge more. But it wasn't like it was an $80 bottle.
Right.
I want to say it was like $35 to $40.
That's not bad at all.
No.
Especially, you tasted this earlier. This was
yeah.
Look at that.
I mean, look at the color. It's verging on being an amber color.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even amber. I might even give it the amber.
Yeah.
It's definitely a dark straw if it is an amber.
Mm-hmm.
And then the nose. God, that is so fruity. Almost brandy-like.
It is almost brandy-like. But you like the dark plum.
Yeah, caramel, maybe a little ripe, real ripe apple.
Mm-hmm.
A little baking spice.
I mean, it's very complex.
Very complex, very nice.
But yeah, it's also very fruitful.
Oh.
The spices are starting to come through, as it opens up just a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of baking spice. It's really kind of hard to tell off the nose what the baking spices are, but maybe nutmeg, maybe allspice, maybe a little ginger.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting some ginger.
And you're getting that oak, but it's a pleasant oak. It's a sweet oak, like sawdust, not like bitter tannic.
Sawdust, man, I love that smell too. That's one of my favorite smells.
So let's taste it.
it's one of those that equals the nose, which is
Oh,
a
yeah.
rarity. You know, like usually one or the other's bigger. This one, it's like
Oh, the flavor is
everything we
just,
like talked about in the nose pretty much comes through on the
Yeah.
taste. You know.
except for the spices, you can definitely taste. It's a little ginger, a little cinnamon,
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little nutmeg, but it's more defined than it is on the nose.
Right.
But that real ripe apple, the caramel, and that apple even lingers into the finish. I'm still getting some oak and spice with that lingering ripe apple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's lovely.
Yeah.
That's a lovely bourbon.
So let's try it with a cranberry and see what it does. Oh, that really makes that vanilla, French vanilla, rich, creamy.
Very creamy.
Mm-hmm. Not as fruity, surprisingly.
No.
And not quite as spicy either. The
Not as
spices
spicy.
are there, but they're not as strong.
It kind of smoothens it out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Gives me like almost like vanilla bean latte-ish kind of. Yeah, almost coffee-like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
where you lose, like coffee doesn't really have that spice,
Right.
Um,
But it's got that kind of an oak tannic.
yeah. The finish is there.
Yeah.
It's just not overly spicy.
Right.
Yeah. What I love about these guys is that I've seen their bottles around, and didn't know much about them, so I would never really pick one up. But I mean, after tasting this one, I'm gonna be looking out for them. I'll pick up
Yeah, it's been a long
everything I
time.
get,
I've got some MB rolling back here. One of these days, he's going to come over and we'll have to taste through it.
Yeah.
Because, I know you've tasted it, but it's probably been 3 years.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah. And it's like we've tasted so much, I kind of forget about some of the stuff that we've tasted.
Right. And, and to be honest, 3 years ago, the whiskey wasn't quite as old as it is now.
Yeah.
And, so it's going to be a little different.
Yeah, my palate.
But, even their
pretty
young
young
whiskey,
back then.
I always really liked even their young whiskey. I mean, they are talented distillers.
Mm-hmm. You can definitely tell with this one. This is a really good one.
This cleanser palate. Let's try it with a pecan. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That made it more fruity than the cranberry did.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I'm getting not only that ripe apple, I'm getting a little bit almost like a raspberry, blackberry. And then the spices, cinnamon, ginger, maybe even just a hint of cardamom.
Yeah, a little bit of vanilla there, still lingering.
Oh yeah, the vanilla.
Yeah, this is really, really good.
And then on the finish, there might be just a little hint of chocolate on the finish.
Yeah, and it's kind of lingering. Oak, chocolate, maybe even like a hint of tobacco there.
Maybe
a little hint of tobacco.
Definitely, it's like a dark Cavendish pipe tobacco more than anything.
Man, this stuff, if you can pick it up, that's definitely worth it.
So speaking of chocolate, don't forget we're trying this with some with a Hershey dark chocolate kiss. That's interesting.
That is interesting.
It almost brought out like an orange zest.
An orange zest, and like I'm getting like toasted vanilla almost on it. The finish has gone It's a pretty sweet oaky finish for me on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Hmm. I would almost prefer it with neat, and then I think for me, neat and the pecan is going to be my favorite.
Yeah.
Of this one.
The chocolate's not bad,
Chocolate's not bad.
but it's less complex.
It's less complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyway, MB Rolling, keep up the good work. Glad to see you got a bottle and bond. Cheers.
Yeah, I can't wait to pick up this bottle.